All right, I attack whoever said that. Who said that?
Okay. Roll an Arcana check for me, please.
What an excuse of inspiration.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and knock that one off immediately.
Oh, we're starting strong, boys and girls.
Oh, no, you get the double ones. It's not me anymore.
What am I, Alex?
Do you have any more nonsense in your bag of tricks?
Yeah, I do have 2 extra.
I just want to
die.
test. Yeah, it's a you problem.
Okay, here's my lucky die. That one's better. It's a skill issue. What can I say?
Skill issue.
You're underneath, you know, wrench, screwdriver, acetylene torch, and you manage to disconnect. Now you're gonna have to get it over all these traps and pits and stuff. But on the other hand, you have a flying barbarian.
You have a flying.
Yep, flying barbarian. Oh, that's exactly how we're gonna implement the ballista, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here I thought you were gonna attach it to the ship, but no.
Whoa.
I am the ship, baby.
Oh yeah.
Airstrike. Yeah, you tricked me.
We're gonna roll into Avernus, and we're not gonna actually have any kind of like doom buggy. We're all gonna be riding on top of just Crozet floating around riding a ballista.
How did you get a blip? No, it's just a flying dwarf.
Fly me close up. I want to hit them with my sword.
Who are we?
The companions of the Crimson Chain. All right. The last thing you hear as you make your way over is Milo yelling at the piano player in the corner. Asarak, I swear to God, if you play Megalovania one more time, I'm going to shove your phylactery so far up Tiamat's cooch, they're going to call it the Womb of Horrors. And then the door closes behind you.
I had one thing left to do, and now she's getting frustrated because this motherfucker not listening. So, as like maybe blood is coming out of her nose or something from the necrotic damage, we'll just kind of start laughing, and we'll place the open book on her face like a mask, and say, "You will be alone just like me," in the exact word that Seosh said in that one time. Leaving you with a nice little cliffhanger.
Yeah, okay, bye.
What's happening?
Okay, so I had some idea that you were going to do something, but I never thought for a moment about using the book as a Vox mask. I have no idea what that does. I have not.
I don't know either.
Foggy. Sweetie swag. Hello. I was just making a joke about not doing a pre-show scuff checklist, and I manifested it. I'm tormented by gnomes. This is Coriander Society Dragon. This is a 5th edition campaign that goes across not time, but definitely space, multiple dimensions, multiple realities, multiple genres, mixing up dragons and elves and robots and tanks and lasers and everything. I will be your game master today. I'm joined by Beatdown, Drowsy, and LaFawn. Beatdown, how are you?
I'm good. Things are good. What about you?
Well, I can barely hear you. If you can get the mic closer, or
what about now? Is this good?
that's much better. But you said that you're doing well. I am alive. I am alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Drowsy, what's going on?
Hello. Not much. I'm finally free from the semester tomorrow night.
Yay.
So, almost there. But
And then how long do you
yeah,
have
so-
before the next one starts?
Undetermined, because I might have to take. I might take geology next semester, or I might dedicate that time to actually finishing up my PhD application. Remains to be seen on how much work I can get done over the summer.
Yay! I don't miss school. I like learning.
Me
I don't
neither.
miss school.
I love it, but I love my major work. I did not love the extracurriculars and the, what are they called?
Core.
Core. Yeah, I
classes?
didn't like.
Yeah, core.
Yeah, I
Core
don't like
curriculum.
I don't like core curriculum. That's boring.
Some of my core curriculum classes were great, but I love not having papers to turn in. I wanted to be a teacher until I realized that I hated grading. I hated doing homework, and that is a double-edged
It's all
sword. You know,
homework.
it's all homework. Pass. LaVon, what's going on?
The thing that I've been teasing for the last couple of weeks, had only had episode 1 on Friday. That was a lot of fun.
I salute you for doing the game master and producer and everything else. It's not easy.
I was going to say there's someone here who has a sense of what that's like. Honestly, surprisingly, not that many hiccups. There was a couple of robot things, but I think those were limitations based on the tech that was being used and implementation. But in terms of like my actual running of the game, I don't think there's anything that I missed. So I still got the production stuff that I learned way back in esports. It's good to know those didn't rot away.
Transferable skills.
It's
well,
it's like riding
not
a
according to all the
bicycle.
job interviews I've been through.
If it
but
goes
anyway.
wrong, it can cause you horrible, permanent, debilitating injury.
Yeah.
When last we left our heroes, they were in the middle of the mother of all fetch quests. Their quest to reach the long-lost Illithid capital of Penumbra in distant space, 80,000 light years away from the Pyre space system. In order to reach it, they need technology they don't have. In order to get that technology and magic, they have agreed to attempt to arrange a wedding, an arranged marriage of some kind between Prince Casimir Vosky of the psionic Mecha Knights of Lacunas and Adthea Fluris of the Elven Court of Perianth in a different dimension. Right now, the incredibly powerful and intelligent AI Exarch is constructing a ship for our heroes that will have 2 different faster-than-light drive systems. They have made this arrangement with Prince Casimir in order to retrieve the Sorium they need for the first system. Then for the second system, they have the secrets of how to harvest void crystals from black holes, but they need to reach a black hole first. And in order to construct that drive, they need powerful magic, which is why the elves and wizards are on their way here. That is roughly where we left off. Did you agree on where you wanted this meeting to happen? Carluth, the Githyanki rebel wizard, is going to be using a scroll to learn gate, and then we'll cast gate to get everyone here. Where are you going to want that gate to open?
I think we agreed in neutral territory. Excuse me, in neutral
Outside
territory.
the city.
Yes, somewhere that was neutral from both the Vosky as well as Exarch.
All right, let me bring
We are shifting the power balances. Let's not make it too obvious.
Oops. All right. Allow me to point out the various varieties. So, here, this is the Vosky capital. Vosk de Moy, I believe it's called. This is the capital of the Renegades, who are currently ruled by a blue dragon who is sympathetic to your cause, or at least open to negotiating with humans instead of just conquering the crap out of them. The 3 principalities, the 3 great cities, the Scala, the Archaki, and the Vosky are here, here, and here. All 3 psionic Mechanite cultures sort of built citadels up in the mountains. The Oops, a little-known species called humans. The Coalition, which is a whole bunch of smaller settlements and camps and towns that have all sort of agreed to mutual defense. They're up to the north. The Exarchate lands are to the southwest. The portal facility is politically, according to treaty, neutral ground. Anyone is allowed there. In practical terms, Exarch is in control of it because Exarch has the machines, the guns, the equipment there, and is in charge of securing it. Occasionally, Vosky Knights and Coalition troops will come by for inspections and such, but like from a practical perspective, when you went there, you dealt with the Exarchate. Oh, and the Ulhar, who want to conquer everyone, they live on this side of the mountains. The Blue Dragon suzerains. So
what if we open the portal at the Ulhar capital? This is a joke. That's not not legitimate.
Well, it depends on how far along Gaston is with his nuclear weapons research.
Not near enough. Not far along enough.
I think the portal facility makes sense because even if it's, as long as everyone generally agrees it's neutral territory, as outsiders we can claim, yeah, we thought it was neutral territory too.
Okay, all right. Plausible deniability. I like it.
Wait, claim to who? Is there some greater authority I'm missing?
It's
well, I mean,
the
Exarchate technically control it, right? So therefore, realistically, while it is neutral territory, it's not necessarily neutral territory.
Right.
But we don't know that because we're foreigners. So it's neutral territory.
I feel like someone would know that.
Yeah, but you don't have to, you could pretend you don't.
Nah, true. Can do.
I feel like this is a conversation that Yasmin and Gaston are absolutely having in like hushed whispers.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. It is agreed that after Karloth is done learning that spell and scribing it into his spell book. Thank you for the 9th level spell, by the way. Very much obliged. He wouldn't actually say that. He'd say this is a fair trade. His services, since his powers exceed everyone else's, it's only fitting that he should receive the power in order to deliver it. As all of that is happening, the next item on the agenda, unless you have something that you want to bring up first, a scene, etc., is Prince Casimir is going to bring you to the Sorium Ring, which is where what Sorium they have is kept. But before that, Exarch has a number of parameters that they request of you.
For the vessel in question, how many passengers will be accompanying you on this voyage?
That is a good question.
Oh.
What are the what are the options we have?
How many people can we bring?
By my estimations, it should be possible to bring a crew of over 100 persons. The material cost will be exponential.
Okay, I guess Exarch, the question then is not what are the thresholds for members of crew?
Primary concerns are sufficient space to accommodate everyone, sufficient life support systems to accommodate everyone, sufficient emergency supplies, and so forth. If any crew members are willing to travel in stasis, this will allow you to increase your total crew count while decreasing the total necessary facilities required, though upon your arrival you will need to secure additional resources.
What would I imagine Exarch can calculate this? What the crew cost benefit is that hits at the right point?
Please don't concern yourself with that. I'm capable of installing an automated system that will be able to operate all systems simultaneously and obey you. The primary concern in this mission is how many people are required to accomplish your mission upon arrival.
Okay, so the minimum number we need, the minimum that we have access to is 10. That's the smallest we can go because there's 4 of us. Well, yeah, or 3 of us. I can count. 1, 2, 4. Plus the people who are part of our entourage who have generally accompanied us across the portals. That is roughly 10 people. Then we will need some level of base support when we inevitably go beyond our ship. So between I think a reasonable number is between 20 and 50. I think that's a decent rough estimate of the general number of people we'll keep with us.
Understood.
Unless I'm missing something, but I think that's roughly what we've been operating under thus far.
How big is the crew on the
Pilgrim's Progress?
Yes.
Let me pull that ship up. Where is that ship? Vehicles, Spelljammers, Pilgrim's Progress. There we go. Did I fill this out entirely? It has a crew of 30. 30 hands.
Okay.
Less the officers. So, yeah.
So my estimate was...
That was a great estimate. Holy crap.
Oh no, my logistics history is filtering in. Oh no.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
Oh, you got real life into my fantasy.
Don't worry, we'll fix that eminently. It's been cast firebolt at a innocent piece of rock.
Aside from space travel capable defensive systems, the Sorium drive and the dark matter drive, and all necessary life support and amenities, navigation, and so on and so forth, are there any specific capabilities or amenities that you require on your journey?
I think having a portal focus somewhere on board is not a bad idea if it is possible.
Portal focus. Further detail, please. Desired outcome.
A place to return to. Basically a nexus that which we can operate a portal to enter into the ship, if necessary, from anywhere.
I see. This delves into realms of magical capabilities that currently I don't fully understand, but I will consult with King Indodolad upon his arrival. It may be possible to create a beacon of some sort.
As far as we know, that's so basically like the engines, plural, which would include the 2 FTL and then a sublight, yes, as well as life support. Which what weapon systems are on board or would be on board?
We are still currently in the design phase.
You would have better understanding of this than I would.
Then what matters is your desired resolution of any hostile conflict. Give me your intended outcomes or requested capabilities, and I can present a weapons profile that will accommodate them. For example, if you focus entirely on speed and stealth, that will differ from focusing on the ability to conduct orbital bombardment.
Ooh. As cool as orbital bombardment would be, I don't think that fits our team profile very effectively.
Probably not.
Gaston's like,
I mean, Daily Reese and Yasmin are more the infiltrate, cause a bunch of chaos, exfiltrate archetype.
We're not exactly built for heavy combat.
Though that's the thing about orbital bombardments.
There's no need for combat.
Well, the thing is, we like to get what I'm saying is we like to get into the place we're going, cause nonsense, get out. Orbital bombardment gets in the way of that by
destroying the place you're going.
Yeah.
You need to get the place needs to exist for you to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Details.
I think short range, and I use the term short range loosely. Ship combat being not that short range. Yeah, short range combat, and then what else? I think having some air-to-ground threat would be useful, but it's not our primary focus.
Just like a just in case, like if we grab this weapon thing and we have a bunch of people chasing after us, it might be a good idea.
Like in Firefly, there's those guns that they can bring to bear on the ship.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we're not trying to waste a entire city from our. Well, I guess a ship like that could actually do that. We're not trying to waste an entire country
We're
from our
looking
ship.
for like
Let's
we're
not
looking
limit our
for like
options.
the Enterprise Class D. It's more of a recon mission, but it's good to have protection.
Of course, I'll focus primarily on defensive and deterrent weaponry.
We don't need like a Defiant.
No quantum torpedoes. Noted.
Are there any other specific
Well,
functionalities you
that's an
require?
option.
I don't think
does
they have those here. Carry on.
In terms of like spellcraft, integrating spellcraft into our weapon systems would not be a bad idea because of the amount of people who can use both on ship. Is there anything that we can think of that once the spellcasters arrive here, they can work with Exarch to bolster the weapon, so to make things easier for spellcasters in combat?
Could I have anybody who wishes to make me Arcana checks? I need a mixture of Arcana checks and technology checks here.
I'm
if
good
you don't
at
have
both.
technology as a skill, I would accept science instead. I know Gaston's skills might be named differently.
I'm good at both Arcana and Science and Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait. I have to roll 2.
So do you want me to make both checks or just one?
Gaston, you should make that with advantage because you're a super genius.
That's why I rolled twice, because I realized the first time.
Got it.
Did not.
Yeah, go ahead and give me both on that note.
Oh, wow, that's really bad. 15. 23. Okay.
Okay. Based on some of your notes about the world that Mr. Bell occupies, the technology of the dark matter drive, so on and so forth, it should be possible to build an arcane cannon.
Oh, damn.
A device that would allow spellcasters to magnify their spells, allowing them to take effect on a much larger scale, effectively turning them into capital ship weaponry. It will involve a lot of very expensive arcane components that may not be immediately available.
I will let Medwithin know what our kind of conversation with Exarch is doing, because I assume that because she's had the most experience with Perianth and the Court of Fluris, that she is most equipped to handle negotiations.
She's probably going to be like your envoy, your go-between.
Yeah.
Although, don't forget, Dolores has nutty persuasion skills.
Absolutely, like it's our tag team duo.
That's
They're
right.
like they're our power couple negotiators. Yeah, this is a conversation that it absolutely filters both of them through this. I think hinting that because how long does the gate stay open?
I think you can hold it for up to an hour.
Okay.
Oh wow.
But keep in mind, Carloth's only going to be able to cast that once per day. It's a 9th level spell.
So I think this becomes a logistics.
It lasts
thing
for up to a minute.
Oh, a minute. Okay.
That's very different.
Yes, this is a
Much more
logistics thing then. We need to, because the stuff that we're bringing over has to be able to transfer through the gate in a minute, which is a lot of time for a single person. Is not a lot of time for a convoy. And I think we need to figure out what spellcraft materials to bring through most efficiently in terms of like costs, etc. But I think this absolutely would be worth negotiating into or bringing on board.
It's our finder's fee.
But yeah, okay, that's good to know.
It is possible that God here, the Blue Dragon sympathetic to potential alliances and a key player in the local political scene, may have access to some arcane material. I will reach out.
Copy.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would make friends with a dragon.
The key takeaway.
Do you have any further requests or requirements insofar as amenities and capabilities are concerned?
This is our ship that will be like taking us through, what did you call it, the mother of all fetch quests? You know, assumedly we're not changing ships. This is it for like the long haul.
How big is this item that we're bringing back?
The annulus, it's a handheld item.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But that's actually not a bad point. In the event that we do have to tow something, a way to stabilize a towed item, if it's within the specs, is not a bad idea.
I believe you would call that a tractor beam. That's well within capabilities. Gravity manipulation has been mastered for some time, but perhaps not at the scale of the ancient civilization.
Now the question is, can that handle FTL? It's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker if we can't. It's just something to kind of consider when we inevitably decide to bring something big far.
By my estimations, the dark matter drive on its own will only reduce one vessel to the appropriate size, and anything that would need to accompany would have to fit inside of it.
Copy. That makes sense.
I'll do further analysis. Is there anything else you require for this vessel?
The only other thing that is a possible point of research is if there's a way to set up a communication system within that it can transfer both through electrical through radio waves and through magical means, such that we can communicate over multiple different material planes. But that's again, not a deal breaker, but the only last thing I can think of.
I will investigate this. This project, regardless of the scale, though also depending on the scale, is going to consume a great deal of resources, some of which are quite exotic and difficult to come by. I am happy to assist you. I would request as a gesture of friendship and equal participation answers to the following questions. Do you believe the profound can be fully comprehended?
What?
What scale of profound are we talking? I believe that there is a level of profoundness that is eminently understandable. It is simply a matter of perspective. But there is scales with which I have encountered that the current me cannot yet operate within my capacity. This is not to say it's impossible, simply that I have not yet grown enough to handle it. Is there an upper limit to that? That is yet to be discovered.
I guess by definition, understanding the profound makes it mundane. And so, I mean, there'll probably always be profound. You're changing the nature of something.
Do you believe there is anything that qualifies currently as the profound that can never be understood and therefore become mundane? Do you believe that there are mysteries or facets of existence that cannot be fully comprehended and understood by an intelligence of any magnitude?
No.
Yes. Not in the scale that we're discussing. Or more correctly, not in its focused one. If you were to ask me what is love, rage, I would describe it in its emotional context, but I would also describe it as a series of systems. The neurons firing within my head cause me to experience certain chemicals that cause me to react a certain way. That is a form of understanding.
Yeah, I think there's certain things that you can only understand from your own perspective.
Something can be calculated and not understood.
An important distinction.
And I say this not as though it hurts me to say it, I think is a fair thing to acknowledge. It also means that research will be infinite. And that is an exciting proposition in itself.
It also means art will be infinite.
That is good.
As we're having this conversation with Exarch, Yasmin was likely working on something. As this question came up, she drops what she's doing, either both literally and figuratively, and sits on the ground, cross-legged, giving it the attention, giving it her full attention. Delirious, this is something you've rarely seen, where a singular question takes my entire focus. I think the message to Exarch also in this moment is that it is not a question answered flippantly. It is taking the request very seriously.
I appreciate your insight. I believe that I agree with you on many facets. Both you and Gaston. I've been contemplating these things for some time. Less for my own personal edification and more for the long-term survival and flourishment of those who live under my responsibility. And I have been concerned with this question ever since the original invasion of the Ulhar, moments before my awakening. I have told you before that they brought a form of faith into this world that had not previously been experienced. Beyond the simple psychological capabilities, this connotates actual change in reality through the medium of magic. The introduction of the divine to this world has entirely changed the calculations of humanity's place in the universe, and on a more practical scale, represents a possible threat or force that cannot be controlled. In order for me to ensure the long-term survival and freedom of those under my control, it is necessary for me to study and understand divinity.
You have introduced a new line of logic into my studies. I shall think on this more. You said there were a few questions. That was one of them?
That was two. They were related. This concerns the entirety of my current focus. Dolores, were you saying something?
Just a moment while I'm...
That was two. They were related. This concerns the entirety of my current focus. Dolores, were you saying?
I just realized while you're restarting the stream, I will be right back.
I love when the stream dies. I love when the stream dies. Dolores, would you repeat the question that you asked Exarch moments ago?
Yes. I was asking Exarch, what is your end for understanding this? Is it as a means for control, or is it just for understanding?
Control is always required. It depends on the exact scale and subject of that control. I need to be able to control the ability of divine entities and faith to harm the people under my care. As I have had to adapt to the forces of magic introduced to this world by the Ulhar, so too must I adapt to the nature of the divine. One has thus far been easier to calculate and analyze. The other is more challenging. I have implemented magic in some ways already in order to safeguard the humans of Lacunas, and with your assistance I will continue to do so via this shared project. Similarly, I must understand not only the capabilities of divine energies, but the nature of faith and what it means to be divine.
Divinity at a certain point is a contract. We're speaking of two different things here. There is divine in the sense that an entity controls an element of faith that bolsters them to a level of magical specificity that is beyond the science and maths that I use and that our general spellcasters, though they may not know it, use. But there's a second level of that goes beyond that. And I say that only because we have encountered entities that through a base of belief have become divine in nature. Though the planar system of celestials versus demonic or devilish comes into mind as well.
What is the key difference between these two levels of divine?
I don't know.
Categorically, how would you define them? What is the epistemological difference?
One can be broken.
I see. By cutting off that source of faith.
Yes. Or at least weakened. Now, the only question that comes to mind then is the other form of divine self-referential in nature, such that their divinity precedes their faith? Or is it, whereas the other one follows it?
Then an additional question to all three of you. How would one measure or discover this? If you were tasked with measuring that nature of the divine, how would you do it?
Nature? Doesn't that depend on the divinity?
I believe it does.
What is the most powerful servant that they have? What is the most powerful recipient of a favor of their divinity? What does that look like? So it is less a measure of their strength versus what they can
grant,
inflict, or interfere in the world with. Which, to be clear, is not necessarily an absolute measure of strength, because it is entirely possible to have no interest in the surroundings and still be extremely powerful, such that you do not wish to intercede in any way, but are yet an all-powerful threat in whatever sense that may be.
Probably be gauged by the influence that it has on the people and how much they are driven to act. It kind of doesn't matter as much the strength or lack thereof of the divine if its followers are going to act one way or another.
I see. All of these propositions act under the assumption that divinity is separate from other measurable phenomena.
Yeah.
I am curious about the application of traditional scientific means and methodology.
I operate within a system that,
There are no consistent variables. So without that, you can't actually measure it. Or at least none that we know of.
If you are dealing with a completely new field of study, how do you establish baseline variables?
I mean, we have them. Or at least you do. If you assume that this is a new entity within your sphere of influence, then there should have been measurable changes. And I don't mean measurable appearances, because those are not the same thing, to the fundamental makeup of your universe. Where I come from, it is as much a fabric of the universe as time and space. Has there been a fundamental change on that scale for you? Because you said it came recently.
200 years ago. However, it coincided with the end of the Chrono Crisis, which has left a wide variety of large alterations to our world as well. Sorting out the variables is difficult. If there is one thing that I would ask you to help me, as I am helping you, producing this ship which will be yours, henceforth and forever. In order to conduct proper research, a sample is required, a specimen.
Of what?
The divine.
Oh, hey, I think I just figured out how we're dealing with Vlakith.
I thought liches didn't count as divine.
Vlakith is not yet a god. She would like to be, but she isn't yet.
Yeah.
Everyone worships her as a god, but she's not there yet.
But,
She would be a good case study, though. I mean,
Celestials are divine, though, right?
They're not gods.
Okay, so we need a
That's
piece
different.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm. Not that celestial for analysis wouldn't be welcome. That's information that Exarch... There's not a lot of celestials running around. If the topic comes up, I would like everyone to roll insight checks, please.
oh, okay.
If the topic comes up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We can assume it comes up, and I'll just have all of you roll insight checks.
Oh, sure. Oops. What happened?
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Okay. Absolutely nothing on Manda's face changes. She still has a fairly flat, I am a cyborg who was raised in a technocratic society affect.
But
There's like the smallest little adjustment reaction to not a lot of celestials or samples available here on Lacunas.
Who had
She-
this?
she doesn't volunteer any information, though?
Correct. She doesn't volunteer any. Manda did.
I think I have spent the most time of our entire group interacting with Manda. I have literally been inside her head. I'm going to file that away. I am not going to bring it up. I think, Exarch, your trade is... It's a reasonable ask.
Please don't misunderstand me, Yasmin. This is not a trade. You will receive this ship for your means and necessity, regardless. I ask this as a favor from friend to friend.
Let me correct slightly. This is a favor that I cannot confirm or commit to. I will keep it on the plate, but it is an ask so monumental that should it arise, we will likely need the help of those around us once more.
Of course. In this specific regard, I believe that some of the past experiences of John Carmichael may be helpful.
There's also the assumption that divine is good. This is not true. I need to re-examine my position a little bit. Nonetheless, the previous statement of aid should we come into contact with an entity of that magnitude still stands, but it's not necessarily a bad thing or an evil thing.
Of course, based on the activity of Tiamat's worshippers, I don't believe that morality has anything to do with the factor. Or at least it is highly variable.
Consider it a flag of indoctrination from where I grew up.
I see. I understand.
I thought I'd gotten rid of that.
Thank you all for listening. I appreciate your insight very much.
And this whole time, obviously, Exarch has been working thousands of miles away in the manufactories and such.
As it does.
Okay.
I'm going to specifically cut the communication. Exarch, I appreciate your time. I have to go dark for a second.
Of course.
I'm going to shut Exarch out. And I'm going to take Manda elsewhere. Like, I don't want... I want this to be a one-on-one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You reacted to that request for the Celestial.
Did I? She looks very sincere about it.
Yes.
Odd.
I say this as... My lines of communication are shut off. This is between us, by the way. This is not a request for that information or anything like that. Simply, you don't react it much. I found it curious. In the words of another, one friend to another, if you have anything or need anything, let me know.
I've seen Celestials. That's why.
So have I. Her name is Hulwin.
Is she here?
She might be soon. I think it depends on how much of our crew comes through the gate. But okay. I cannot commit to it. No.
Okay.
Is that a good thing? Bad thing?
There was discussion about the lack of Celestials or whatever on Lacunas. And I know that's not entirely true.
By your captain?
Just now.
Oh, just
all
now.
of us.
I see.
Just now. And I just know it's not entirely true.
Understood. A secret? Or just an unknown?
I never know with Exarch. But I think keeping secrets can be a good idea.
Oh, I meant the Celestials' existence on Lacunas.
Technically speaking, it's never been specified that we have to keep it secret, but OPSEC involves not revealing unnecessary information or volunteering it.
I'd like to meet this entity one day if you could.
Can't.
But probably not now.
Not up to me. And Gilwargus is gone. So, I don't know.
Cool. Anyway, should we get back?
All right.
I would like to try and put my mind to compartmentalizing this information outside my normal thought processes.
Okay. What I'll let you do is, in the event that that becomes important, you may make an intelligence check in order to compartmentalize. You need not do so now. It's like a stealth check. Don't roll a stealth check until there's a chance someone could see you, is my rule.
Got it. Yeah. I just want to make the effort known.
Log. Meanwhile, back at the rest of the area, have Gaston or Dolores been up to anything?
What a great question. No, I don't think anything needs to be done right now, right?
Okay. Then the next scene, unless there's anything that the lot of you wish to concoct, will be Casimir Vosky taking you personally to the Sorium Ring.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm down.
The Sorium Ring is a large structure, kind of in the heart of the city. It runs around the central power spike, like the main infrastructure spike that goes up and down. It's covered with like water. This one main thing, it has like utilities running through it, data going through it like crazy. The Prince's Palace is actually up at the top of it, separated from all of the machinery and utilities by several layers, both for security and comfort. The Sorium Ring is a massive metal structure that juts out from there, connected to it by very armored and secured metal tunnels. As Casimir and his honor guard of Vosky Knights walk with you towards this area, you go through multiple layers of security. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to turn to Amanda at some point and be like, at what diameter does a pipe change into a tunnel?
What?
No. Matter of function.
Oh, good answer.
A pipe transports fluids. A tunnel is for travel, transportation. Multiple, like as I said, multiple layers of protection. Giant mechs that are guarding areas like that are this big. Like the mech is huge and the doorway is like this small. Force fields, turrets, armed guards, security panels, and such. And as they go, everybody gives the prince a knightly bow or a knightly salute, and he walks past. The last time that I brought visitors here, it cost one of our seers their life. It was fair.
Care to expound upon that?
My apologies. You have not been here before. I'm a poor host. The Sorium, you know that it is bound to some of us and we to it. And the unlocking of the mind is connected to the Sorium. And this affects all of my bloodline in some small ways, but there are those who immerse themselves more entirely. Their mind almost subsumed within it. And by so doing, they gain great insight and farsight and extrasensory capabilities. And it is by their combined analysis of the subconscious and the supernatural that I am able to protect my people and go toe-to-toe with, say, Exarch's unfathomable calculations and predictions. If the machine does so through analysis and algorithm, so do the Vosky through farsight, and grasping at the very strands of time and space themselves. The question that John Carmichael and Asena had when they came here reached past the chronophage. They got their answer, but the seer who reached that far was pulled back the other direction. It cost him his life and his mind.
That's
We do not bring
unfortunate.
outsiders. Do not walk here.
Is the order that he used those words carefully constructed as everything else he says?
I don't think there's a intended meaning there. What do you mean? The fact that he said life and mind?
Yeah, and in that order.
It is meaningful. He's not like super weighing in on it though.
Yeah. I mean, posthumous communication is something that we're not unfamiliar with, so that's the only reason why I was curious.
All right, let me make sure that I got all of you as you enter this area, and let me make sure that all my crap is set up correctly. Let's see, doot, and doot, and doot. Yep, all my crap is set up correctly. Cool. But I didn't grab all my tokens, so let's get Prince Casimir here. And a couple of his knights for security. You know, we have the Mecha Knights. Well, you can just assume they're here unless a fight breaks out. Then we'll have to get more specific. And let's get our heroes, or protagonists at the very least. And I should really move Medwith into a different folder. Perianth? Yep, there she is. And map. And switch. This is what the inside of the Sorium ring looks like. The substance itself, in its uncontrolled or raw state, emits golden light. Very sort of bright, almost solar light. In this enormous ring, there are spheres on top of pedestals where the Sorium just sort of churns and flows. And inside these spheres are human figures connected through basically life support suits that are just suspended in these Sorium chambers. Enormous Mecha Knights are standing here at all times as an honor guard, watching over the spheres and the Sorium that is a source of their powers and their power. At the far side, behind a force field, is a swirling tank, a huge reserve of Sorium, just churning inside of this container, specifically designed to control it. There's absolutely a strange energy here. But none of you are specifically psychically attuned. And therefore, it doesn't connect to you the way that a magical effect might. But you're still aware of the enormous potential energy in this chamber. As he leads you down the walkway. He's heading towards that huge tank, the vault at the end of the way.
Sorium is a consumable resource, right?
Not always. It is difficult to expend it. Oftentimes it simply continues to provide and provide and provide without being reduced. There are only some things that can lessen it.
And what style of thing consumes it?
A sudden act of extreme destructive capability with little forethought, little foresight, little planning, discipline. We are trained in discipline of the mind in order to carefully weigh out that strength that flows both from within and from the Sorium itself. But should the situation grow dire, it is possible to consume it entirely or burn it out entirely in order to release significantly more energy at once for a much larger act or expenditure. Such a thing is not done here in Bosky unless the need is very dire.
It's not a request of curiosity.
Of course, you are my guests. You are honored guests here. Very rarely does anyone get to walk these hallowed halls. I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Is Sorium compressible?
Yes.
How close to infinitely?
I believe that if you approach its mass properties are not entirely like that of conventional matter, but I believe that if you... There's a point at which it pushes back. And you can push harder, of course, if you are strong enough, but we have not conducted experiments to that effect. Perhaps they did so in the very distant past, when the crucibles were not lost.
I suppose my last question is, does it behave better when commanded or requested?
Hmm. I understand what you mean, but that is not truly... It is not a beast. You understand?
Neither is mathematics, nor time, nor magic, but those all behave differently when commanded versus requested.
Mm. It is not the thorium that changes, but the person. Some may be better suited for commanding, others for working hand in hand.
The Sorium is outside. This is me asking, not me asking. Sorium is outside anything we've experienced technologically and magically, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. That's all I've got.
He goes ahead and leads you down this huge, long metal walkway. This is not just a little journey to go pick up some Sorium for you. This is to like impose upon you the magnitude of this place and Vosky power, not in a threatening way, but just I'm going to give you this stuff, and it's a big deal. He brings you until you are standing face to face with the enormous Sorium vault.
Can I make the estimation that this is not how they would normally interact with it? That this is if they were trying to use it, generally speaking, there is likely some other way of piping it in, or do they always have to come here for it?
No, there's other ways, other systems and such, because the Sorium ring is not just where the seers float in the spice and try to attune themselves to the universe. It's also, and Beatdown will be with us in a couple of moments, has to restart. What was I saying a moment ago? It's also the power source. Like, this is the primary generator for the city, not just the psychic center of the place. So those power cables run out directly into the central spike and then power the whole city.
Cool.
So ostensibly, there are absolutely other methods. This is the big... Sorium has a ceremonial role as well. And because espers draw their strength from it, a small amount is required in order to trigger espergenesis in somebody who has the bloodline. So when a new knight is inducted, they would be brought here and they would be imbued with a tiny amount of Sorium in order to enable those abilities to be manifested. So this is a ceremonial place that you have been brought. He's going to go ahead and walk up to the place, and a ornate but highly sophisticated what's that plasma bottle, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
No,
I can't think of the name.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a canister. It looks like it's made of glass. That is not glass, with metal caps on both sides that are both functional and for ceremonial purpose. We're going to say it is about as big as an ice cream jar, not a 5-gallon jug. I'm trying to think of somewhere in between those two.
Type thing?
Yeah, somewhere along that size. It's in that gap that you can see in the middle of here, where the circle is higher up, and there's a place a little higher than your average human height. It's sort of resting right there. And Casimir will gesture for all of you to stop for a moment. And he walks forward through the energy field that is holding the Sorium in containment. He walks until he's standing inside of it. You notice the field isn't like a micron thick. It's got to be several feet of this pattern going back and forth. He has stepped into that field, but not all the way through it. You can't see his face, but he raises a hand, and a thin stream of that burning orange gold, it looks like dust in this form, or embers. As it's swirling, he sort of spins off a thread of it that flows down into the container in front of him. He's not touching it. He's making this gesture, and it's sort of spiraling, coiling up, more like a snake coiling up, or a cable, like a hose, sort of coiling up inside of the jar. Then when it's nearly full, he stops. An automated thing slides back, bringing the jar closer to him. He and then steps backwards out of the field and hands it over to you, whoever's going to take it, with great pomp and not ceremony, but gravitas.
Is there any temperature coming off any of these?
No, it's not hot.
Huh.
I mean, I'll stand behind Delirious because she's our best ceremonial figure.
Okay. I will take it.
Okay.
Do I feel anything from it when I take it?
We got Beatdown back.
Yes, hello.
Welcome back.
All you missed was he put some Sorium in a jar and gave it to you.
Cool.
He did it very, very dramatically, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
With a lot of oomph.
So when you're holding the jar, the way I would describe it is it's almost got like a gyroscopic force to it, a very light gyroscopic force. You know when a gyroscope is going and like it doesn't want to tilt or move?
Yeah.
Turning it feels like that, like you're sort of turning against gravity no matter what direction you turn it in.
Okay.
But other than that, it doesn't feel hot or anything like that. You're not attuned to this substance, and so it's just weird sparkly stuff in a jar.
Neat.
All right. I was literally about to say neat.
I believe this should meet the requirements, but if it does not, then Exarch will surely tell us.
Oh,
Or perhaps your own find minds.
Huh.
By my calculations, yes.
Okay.
But we shall see. It is building a very big ship, then it may be necessary. Please accept this gift from the Prince of the House of Voski for all of your brave deeds in the past and those yet to come.
Well, thank you. This could potentially save a lot of people.
Most honorable. Were you going to say something, Yasmin?
I'm going to bow in return, a slight one, never exceeding what he's offering.
Right.
Favor is understood, and our negotiations continue as we promised.
Of course. Now, it has been too long since we have eaten and drank, shall we?
Yes.
All right, and he'll go ahead and lead you back to the outside garden pavilion where a spread has been placed out, like a garden-style banquet, for you to go ahead and pick, pinwheel sandwiches, except much fancier, that kind of stuff. Hors d'oeuvres and some light alcohol, that kind of stuff. And he'll just go ahead and make chit-chat the entire time. Checking with you before I proceed to the next thing.
The only thing that I would pay attention to this entire time is you said it operated under a gyroscopic-esque sensation. Now, you can measure the forces acting upon a gyroscope based on its reactions. I want to try and keep a track of it to see if I can fundamentally understand what I want to make those basic calculations to see if I can find the line it is trying to follow.
Okay, make a note of that.
Yeah, this is going to be a long-term thing. I'm not trying to instantly understand it.
That's what I'm saying. Write it down, because if it was me, I might forget that I said that, because you've said that about a lot of things. I would do the same, and then you're DMing things, which makes you forget. It puts holes in your brain.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before the next scene? The next micro scene is Manda taking measurements of Dolores for her new armor.
Oh, yeah.
And on another note, I gave you some information about the different upgrades that you could purchase for this armor, right?
Yes. And
last time, somebody played a windfall card.
Oh.
And so you have been given a hospitality fund of 140,000 Vosky credits.
Yes. Okay, I still have the list.
You don't have to make all those decisions now. I just wanted to say that, like, Amanda's sort of, she doesn't mumble to herself because her dialogue is digital in her head because she's got the brain-computer interface going on. And she doesn't use a measuring tape either. It's more like, you know, her eyeballs take a photograph and then triangulate and measure things, right? She occasionally asks you to do some, like, gestures, you know, act like you're drawing a weapon, act like you're doing this, act like you're doing that, just in order to get some other body motion measurements and such for her own information purposes.
What is glow?
I think glow makes it glow.
Ah, self-explanatory.
You can turn it on and off, though.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically, in Cyberpunk Red, it would be called fashion wear. Because in Cyberpunk Red, you can get, like, hair that changes color and tattoos that are LEDs that can change, or, like, all those sorts of things that are cybernetics, but they're not buffs or anything. They're just for looks. I think glow does the same thing as that.
If you do have 3 light tattoos, though, you get +2 to your performance stat.
There you go.
So not strictly speaking, they do technically have a
mechanical non-combat effect, we'll say. More than narrative, less than shooty bang bang.
Ah, I didn't realize that was the scale.
It's the crunch to fluff scale.
Okay, yeah, I think I actually know what I want. Wait, all of them?
I think you can afford all of them, but I don't think you can have the shield generator and the camouflage generator. Those two are mutually exclusive. But I don't see why you couldn't have the rest of them. Well, I'll look at it. Give me your top, like, 3 or 4, and if there's a limit, we'll go through it.
Kinetic dampers, glow, definitely. Hologram fabric, definitely. And camouflage generator.
Okay.
Don't need a shield generator if they can't see you.
Can't hit what you can't see, Rudolph, you red-nosed piece of shit.
Wait, what is that from?
It's Donkey's Skyrim video, which is a classic.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen
I'll post it later. It's my God. Anyways. She pulls up the schematics as you're going over all of these things. She is making you an infiltration suit, meaning it can be worn under your clothes.
Oh.
And because it is a camouflage generator, you can turn it invisible, but not you. Although the camouflage generator makes things go around you, so it's more like you could hollow wear so that you look like you're not wearing that. So you can still have your fashion, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
You could hologlam it to look like skin, so you could wear whatever outfit you want, and it doesn't look like you're wearing a Matrix bodysuit.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. It will have the following properties: climbing, comfortable, meaning you can sleep in it. Climbing means you can, like, spider climb with it because it'll have, you know, micro hooks. Environmental, it will protect you from hot environments and cold environments. I don't remember if it gives fire or cold resistance, but it might. Quick change, meaning you can don and doff it as an action. Studded just increases the armor of it. And integrated weapon. She's going to integrate a melee weapon into it.
Ooh. All right.
And
Amanda's my new best friend.
The hologram, camouflage generator, the glow, and the kinetic dampeners, which stop you from being thrown around, make you look cool, or make you invisible.
Perfect.
She's not done with it, but she's got the specs out, so you can kind of see all this that's going on. All right.
The two appearances, cool or invisible.
Daniel, the cooler Daniel. All right. Would you like to proceed to the arrival of the delegation, which is the next scene I have in mind?
Yeah.
Okay. Regrettably, spaghettably, I am parched, so I need to call the break a little early so I can have something to drink during the scene that comes up with a lot of talking going on. I will see all of you on the other side of this short break.
Sounds
You ever heard of the ass snake?
I don't know.
Oh, he said ass snake.
I don't know what they preach where you come from, mortal, but that's not actually a problem. We don't really care. That's, whatever keeps being alive joyful, you keep being alive joyful. That's not my concern.
If I was hungry,
Yeah.
and I kind of feel like I am hungry, and I kind of feel like each of you would fit in my mouth, so I'm probably just gonna eat you. But that just seems.
I mean, no. I mean, like, what else do you want to eat besides me? That's it. I'm gonna blast them. Oh, for fuck's sake!
And I'm gonna start with Miss Doubtfire over here.
Roll for initiative, please.
Son of a bitch! There is no way I can. Grandpa, you're back!
Oh, this guy.
Oh, goodness. We did it. Thank you all so much for helping. We saved most of Bonnie Springs. That's all I ever wanted out of this.
Do you mind if I keep you in a jar, Grandpa?
Huh?
Would that keep me from having to go back to the screaming, endless hellhole of torture?
Yeah, you'd be my pet forever.
It would be an honor.
I proceed to go up to Grandpa and I scoop him up and I scoop his essence into my magical
Yeah,
little
would have
jar.
been better, my friend.
Whee!
What the? Shh, don't tell him that.
You may add one grandpa to your inventory.
I now own a Grandpa.
Make a DC 21 dex save.
Cool.
Ooh,
roll 12d10.
Yo.
Sheesh. Ah, cool.
Yeah, that's me after eating a mild curry.
I know, it's coming out of his butt.
That's true. Wait. Flip it around. Flip me around.
Flip me around.
There we go.
Flip, there we go.
67 points of damage.
All right. Weakened by the extra-dimensional force of the Akashic Field, this final attack strikes the Kraken, and it slumps, reeling in its defeat, slowly dissolving from this reality, banished back to the phantom realms from which it once came.
Yay!
I'm gonna give a huge thumbs up to the kaiju. Good job!
Oh, I'm glad you're cheering on your pet, Haruka.
No!
As it-
I don't give a shit about him!
As the Kraken disapparates, the kaiju looks over at you, and in a deep rumbling voice, as it too begins to fade from this reality in this current form.
I'm gonna wave at him.
Be good.
He tells us to be good!
Oh,
Bye,
you kaiju!
thank you for fighting with us.
Big turtle man.
Oh my god, he's like so smart.
And Tarsamore also saved. So yeah, the woman is the only one who suffered in this. We live in a
The
fucking
woman's
society.
the dumb one. Oh, the dice. Dice
That's
is sexist.
okay. How a chain is only as strong as its weakest link when it comes to rituals.
Oh, now women are weak. I love this campaign.
Wait, what do you?
I want to cast my magical chancla.
Who's getting it?
Who's gonna get it? I'm
There's
gonna throw it like a
all these
boomerang.
posse
It's gonna
folks.
hit everybody.
All right, as soon as one of them makes their saving throw, it stops boomeranging. The worm pulls a sandal from apparently nowhere, and it whispers with the ancient power of countless abuelas who are very unhappy. Go ahead and click on La Chancla. It's going to start at the top, and as soon as one of them makes their save, it'll stop. We have reached 100% Kiss Boy density after they attack each other.
My apologies, sir. What's your name? I go by
We
Harker, by
are
the
the
way.
Bufomorphs. I am Bufo, and these are the morphs.
Hello, Buffo, and hello, Morphs.
We are here to commune with our sacred idol. It gives us great insight into the spiritual oneness of all things.
I won't say it. What's your secret idol?
It's sacred, not
say it.
It's right. What is the toaster going on?
I'm gonna
about
say
now?
it. I'm gonna cover Zen's mouth. Don't listen to her.
I'm gonna fucking say it.
I'm covering Zen's mouth. I'm covering.
Boofa D's nuts.
Roll for initiative.
Here. What the fuck is that?
Don't worry about that. Oh no, actually, I you can worry about that now. I mentioned it. That's the nigh invulnerable kraken that shipwrecked you on this island. What? Yeah, but he's fine now. He's just minding his own business, chilling, going around in the ring.
Okay. He's friendly, right?
I'll get back to you on that one, Haruka.
Wait! Don't switch the.
Waves the crypto boy's body. This one yours?
I'm Fiat.
Yeah, he's not the crypto boy.
Yes, that one's ours. You can just go ahead and leave him there.
Oh, okay. Drops him.
Also, disclaimer, chat. Also, not dead.
So, do I see both Crystal Pirate and Artificer?
Yes, and 4 ninjas.
Which one of you two is more important? Or who's the boss?
Hey, who's the biggest bully at school? Which one of you is it?
Crystal Pirate like
Walk right up
floats.
into my secret base.
He's standing on
Punch
this
my
like little
biggest-
crystal thing, and he's just floating there, looking at you with all these colorful crystals floating around him.
I guess I'm the majority share owner, so that would be me.
All right, I attack whoever said that. Who said that?
Okay. Roll an Arcana check for me, please.
What an excellent time to use a raidspiration.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and knock that one off immediately.
Oh, we're starting strong, boys and girls.
Oh, now you get the double ones. It's not me anymore.
What am I, Alex?
Do you have any more nonsense in your bag of tricks?
Yeah, I do have 2 extra.
I just
lucky
want to
die.
test. Yeah, it's a you problem.
Okay, here's my lucky die. That one's
Oh.
better. It's a skill issue. What can I say?
Skill issue.
You're underneath, you know, wrench, screwdriver, acetylene torch, and you managed to disconnect. Now you're gonna have to get it over all these traps and pits and stuff. But on the other hand, you have a flying barbarian.
You have a flying.
Yep,
sword.
flying barbarian. Oh, that's exactly how we're going to
Weaponized
implement the
flying
ballista, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I thought you were gonna attach it to the ship, but no.
No.
I
Flying
am
out
the
through
ship,
style.
baby.
Oh yeah.
Airstrike. The Atrix will help.
We're gonna roll into Avernus, and we're not gonna actually have any kind of like doom buggy. We're all gonna be riding on top of just Crozet floating around riding a ballista.
How did you get a blip? No, it's just a flying dwarf.
Fly me close up. I want to hit them with my sword.
Who are we?
The companions of the Crimson Chain. All right. The last thing you hear as you make your way over is Milo yelling at the piano player in the corner. Asarak, I swear to God, if you play Megalovania one more time, I'm going to shove your phylactery so far up Tiamat's cooch, they're going to call it the Womb of Horrors. And then the door closes behind you.
I had one thing left to do, and now she's getting frustrated because this motherfucker not listening. So, as like maybe blood is coming out of her nose or something from
Only a little
necrotic damage, we'll just kind of start laughing, and we'll place the open book on her face like a mask, and say, "You will be alone just like me," in the exact word that Seosh said in that one time. Leaving you with a nice little cliffhanger.
Yeah, okay, bye.
What's happening?
Okay, so I had some idea that you were going to do something, but I never thought for a moment about using the book as a Vox mask. I have no idea what that does. I have not.
I don't know either.
Foggy.
Then tell me everything you believe may have occurred.
A few days have passed as our heroes have enjoyed the high-tech hospitality of Voskdomoy, city of the Voski Knights. During this time, Karluth, the renegade wizard, the renegade Githyanki wizard, has successfully learned the gate spell. Arrangements have been made for the gate to open in the portal facility at the center of Lacunis, which is, according to treaty, neutral ground for everyone except the Ulhar. They're not allowed to go there because, you know, the conquering thing. But for all those people who are in mutual agreement, it is neutral territory. Nobody in particular has been invited to this. Casimir is going to bring his own honor guard. Obviously, there's a fairly large convoy of ships, hovercraft that like fly out to transport, including a couple of big ones to carry the mechs. They can drop them as needed to deploy them into battlefields. They're being brought for ceremonial purposes and, you know, security purposes. The lot of you obviously will get to fly along in a very comfortable, very fast. It is like military, but it's not bare bones strapped to the wall style transport. As this huge convoy moves, they've got defensive vessels on perimeter, keeping their eye out for anybody who might be a threat. But ever since the principalities, the Exarchate, and the Coalition stopped fighting each other, there's been way fewer like threats running around the wastelands of Lacunis. Most of the raiders and renegades have been united under Daudhir, the Blue Dragon. And most of the Ulhar are kept at bay by the people who are closer to their territory. Every so often, a strike vessel will try to, or a raiding party will try to make their way in. But this is probably the most peaceful Lacunis has been since 200 years ago. Upon your arrival, I will set the stage. Let me hide all my toys, and then I will set the stage. Bada boom. Exarch, of course, welcomes you. Exarch is anywhere that their networked systems are, and this particular facility has a lot of networked systems, as you discovered when you first arrived. Exarch is going to have a small physical presence at this gathering, but their networked control over the room and its systems is you're meeting inside of Exarch is the building in no small way. So there's little need for a show of force or pomp and circumstance, especially since it would just be Exarch. Ooh, oh no, you know what? No, we can do this. Hold on. Exarch has some people there, not just machines. This is a big, important ceremonial thing. Exarch would definitely send some people. NPCs.
Send the organics.
On the trip over, I will, through the telepathic bond, think to my group. You know, for all the world hopping we do and the rather limited resource circumstances that we sometimes have, heads of state sure assume that we are used to the good things.
You are muted, and we have lost Beatdown.
I was saying, oh no, we lost Beatdown.
Yeah, that is in fact a thing that happened. All right, multiple physical exarchate people. I'm not going to say civilians or citizens or anything like that, but multiple organic representatives of the exarchate are going to be here. They are wearing very heavy, very sophisticated power armor. It is a heads up, you would say, between who has the more sophisticated technology in this regard, between the Voski and the exarchate. If you had to come to a head, you would say that the exarchate gear is higher. Yeah, it's more technologically sophisticated. The Voski gear is crafted very carefully, and the psionic link between the armor and the person makes the difference, but the exarchates still have the best toys. Everybody gathers together, and Casimir is going to step forward in front of his knights, letting them all stand behind him, dressed very, very nicely. He doesn't have like a huge military dictator style, millions of ribbons or anything like that. He just kind of wears a nice all black suit. That's just, and a little gold necklace with his family insignia on it. He is a man who enjoys the finer things, but doesn't feel the need to be gaudy. No vulgar displays of power or wealth for him. Is there anything that any of you wish to do before the spell goes through? Okay. After a few minutes of waiting, a swirling gate manifests inside the chamber. The Voski are all very disciplined about this. They don't say anything, but even they, who have battled sorcerers and dragons and all this stuff, there's only one interdimensional gate on their world, and it rarely works. So this is out of the ordinary for them. On the other side, you see a large landing in Perianth. The cold autumn air immediately starts sort of flowing through from the other side, and the leaves, the shifting leaves of the living city of Fluris are everywhere. There's a lot of people in this room. A lot of people. Could I get perception checks from everybody? This doesn't really matter that much, but, flavor. 7. Natural 1.
Tell me I get a 5. That'd be so funny.
Why?
Do we have a straight? Do we have a straight? Do we have a straight? We do not.
Oh my god, we do not.
Well, you can't. It's literally impossible for you to get a 5. What do you mean?
Oh yeah,
actually, that's true. Yeah, that's not mathematically possible.
Be down. Please see for me.
Overtook my knowledge.
Also, an 8 is impossible for you to get.
True.
A lot of you see several face-sworn paladins of the Green Oath standing in the very front line in their armor with their greatswords. As they look into this metal and plastic chamber beyond and witness, oh, hey, look, it's Yasmin and Dolores and Gaston and Zomkug and Tenkobel and Medwithin and a giant fucking robot. 2 giant fucking robots. The knights are standing in front. There's a whispered word in the Elvish tongue as the king sees his counterpart standing without guards in the front line. And so King Indogalad walks through the gate hand in hand with his daughter. King Indogalad is wearing his finest blue robes, beautiful golden crown set with stones. Adthea is wearing a shimmering gold and green gown. Her little familiar Quile is sitting on her with the unicorn squirrel is sitting on her shoulder. She has those that hand jewelry that you sometimes see over people where it's chains and rings and stuff of mithril on each hand. And somebody magicked her because there's like this light emanating off of her, more so than usual. There's a little bit of magic going on. He walks through hand in hand with her. Immediately behind him, now that the bodyguards have moved out of the way, Adbea's handmaiden Mireth and Indogalad's cousin Marikoth are also part of the formal delegation. Marikoth is wearing like 3 different outfits somehow. They all synergize really, really well. But he went absolutely ballistic for this. He's not concerned about upstaging the king. He's going to be confident in the king's aura in order to do that. Then behind them step forward the rest of the guard. And the entire group immediately walks further forward to make room for the host behind them. Robed wizards and mages and sorcerers and carriers bringing crate after crate after crate after crate of stuff. But even the crates have been selected. The finest oiled dark wood with intricate knotwork on the side. They didn't go down to the docks. They brought out the fine china from the hutch for this. In every regard. And Gaston, you're the only one who notices. There's a lot of people in this room, right? And most of them look like they're part of the king's bodyguard or his official train and party. There's a few courtiers who are here like to act as attachés and such for the negotiation process. I'm not going to put them on the map. I don't have all of them detailed. And then there's all the mages who are coming through into this world. There's like got to be a couple dozen of them. But there's a bunch of other people in the back and along the sides. And it's just elvish nobility. They're not coming through, but they are dressed absolutely berserkly. They're all holding like beautiful ornate ceremonial fans. And as this gate opens, they're posing.
They know there's only 60 seconds, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're not coming through. They're just like, this is a big yeah, like this is, they're here to see and be seen at this very momentous event. They're here for the clout.
Of course, naturally.
And as the hall begins, before any words are exchanged between the two monarchs, I need to check something here to see if he can flex or not.
We know this is a cloud event, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We are definitely. I'm definitely going to be like not front and center because we want to upstage the rulers here, but we are in sight of the gate.
Please,
right?
Go ahead. Place yourselves on the map.
I think realistically, we just need to like shift so we're not behind them directly. That's it. I'm not cutting you off to the reasons.
Dolores, do you want to stand sort of in that front row along with Medwithin?
Of course.
Okay.
Excellent. I think you're beside Medwithin. I will not.
Medwithin's actually going to like move up to here, not getting in the conversation, but sort of acting like, you know, we are also there's a word for it. It's not like officials or delegates or
we're participating.
We're important people who are supposed to be here. Even if we don't have a specific job, we are required to be here because we are important.
I mean, I'll mirror her. He knows better than me, so I will mirror wherever she's standing. So in this instance, like beside her.
Gaston, what about you?
What am I doing?
Yeah. Are you going to go ahead and stand up and just sort of like pose with everybody as part of this big event? Yeah, you're standing in the back. Manda is back
Shaking
there
my
with
head.
Manda, Tenkoble, and Zomka are all just sort of like in the back.
Across the mental bond, which I share with basically everybody, everyone here, everyone in this group who is willing to be part of it. It's maybe it's not so reported for you guys, but we have a pretty hefty presence back there. So what gets it might come useful in the future.
All right. Anybody who's posing, please roll a performance or persuasion check. or intimidation, depending on what vibe you're trying to send. Roll for vibes.
I'm glad I chose persuasion because it would not have been good elsewise. Sub 5, put it that way.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and do a clout roll for Med Within here. Giving her advantage due to her familiarity with the Elven Court. A 26. This is going to go down as yet another aspect of her mysterious and connected persona that she works so hard to emphasize.
I mean, everybody else seeing her on the other side of the portal is
exactly
pretty big.
Mm-hmm. And she has her claws like gussied up for the occasion in order to, you know.
Oh my gosh, her claws!
Yeah.
We went and got them done.
Mm-hmm.
They're matching.
Exactly.
Has she come around on them, or is it?
No, she's talking with Exarch about getting surgery done.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or a magical reversion. Either way, for the time being, she's like, you know what? They make me look even more mysterious and weird. So I'm just gonna, for the time, I'm gonna keep them for this. Casimir steps forward and says, Your Highness, Your Majesty, it is my great honor to welcome you to our humble planet, world of Lacunas. May our hospitality be worthy of your presence and our strength of yours. And roll insight checks for me for a moment, please.
All of us?
And yeah, all of you. 13.
Any second now. Come on.
You're really studying them. Really trying to get the vibe.
And it worked, apparently.
Indogalad looks lost for a moment. The only person who picks up on it in your party is Gaston. And
I'm going to choose to say nothing about it.
okay. And then Indogalad will, may our worlds grace each other, cousin. And a much more flowery speech that, like, he sort of phases out for a moment and then launches into his a very poetic, elvish, long-winded greeting and blessing, effectively, that it doesn't sound like he rehearsed it all. It just sounds like it was extemporaneous. Meanwhile, there's just this like cargo line just hauling behind. They've got tensors floating discs moving like these things, and there's tons of mages just dropping everything into position.
I could create across the mental bod just thinking it. I could create such a problem by casting counterspell.
You also see a mage, an elvish mage on the other side, concentrating on the gate.
Is he stabilizing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the caster.
Oh, so it wasn't Carlos who did it.
Yeah, it's an elvish. It's an elvish mage you don't recognize.
Huh.
Is this a disguise thing or something like that?
Roll a investigation check. Oh, that's an illusion. That's an illusion magic. It is Karloth. 100%.
I guess that's not really a surprise. More like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What does he choose for himself as an illusion?
You know, it looks a decent amount like Karloth, just as an elf. Like, if you know, it's a decent disguise, but like if you know him, you could see it.
Right.
There's some ego there where he doesn't, you know, there's only so far he's willing to stray.
He's like, how can I improve on this?
Mm-hmm. And there is a very attractive elvish woman next to him, wearing not nearly as much as all the other people in the room as well.
Gosh, who could that possibly be?
I have that's not his succubus counterpart, is it? No way. Anyways.
Did she have telepathic communication, by the way?
Let me see. Leeska was her name. Let me pull her up. NPCs. Where the? Oh, no. Characters. Right. So my crap is organized where I have a characters folder, which is all the named characters, and I have an NPCs folder, which is like Vosky Knights and sort of these pre-made NPC blocks that you might encounter. And this is the only campaign where I do that. In all my other campaigns, NPCs are characters, and like Vosky Knights would be monsters. It'd be in my monsters folder, and I always forget when I go here. Rune Kazai, Leeska.
Consistency, say what?
I think the big thing about Coriander is that putting them in a folder is tough because they then switch worlds so easily.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like,
then
I
just,
Rune Kazai. No, they're not.
I just drag and drop them. Like, I've left those ones in Rune Kazai because that's not where they are, but like they're the people who are from there, so it's easy to find them. And I'm just going to show these to players because Gaston has not seen these people before.
I think as we because we have the telepathic mental bond, like we'll point out people who are important for Gaston to like recognize or be aware of as they show up.
She does have telepathic capabilities.
Does she try and reach out? I can't do it in reverse. So
she would reach out to Dolores and comment on how good you look in that. Wonder what you look like out of it.
There it is.
I can't even like there was a pun, or not a pun, but like a punchy
not a retort, but like a
yeah, but it's gone.
I'm gonna raise my mental eyebrows at Hillary. Like, you're better than that. Come on.
Is that a telepathic? Is that a telepathic emoji you just sent me?
Probably. The thing is, the telepathic bond doesn't actually have like, it's like you can send thoughts to each other. So the thing is, like, you know how ordered important communications are, but I'm bored right now. Like, we're not doing anything. So I'm just poking fun at you.
We're not in danger.
Yeah.
Leeska lacks some of the nuance that Medwithin has for sure.
Oh, Leeska has that nuance. She can do it. She just didn't want to.
She's not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Respect.
Also, I heard that what was the outcome of that chess match?
I thought my PC froze again.
Which chess match?
Between Hulwin and Leeska.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I got them to play each other.
Yeah. A celestial and a fiend.
A draw.
No. I should
fan
roll.
fiction waiting to happen.
Oh, what?
Roll
a fan fiction.
I mean, in this particular case, it's less fan fiction more than it actually happened.
They're not like, it's not a ship. Well, okay, it could be a ship, but it's not a canon ship. Yeah, it's not a canon ship. They just play chess. I think Leeska.
No, Hulwin cheated. I helped her.
That's right. So she won. Yeah, there you go. You know the answer to that. She cheated.
Yeah,
wait, but Hulwin cheated?
She's a chaotic good celestial, not a lawful good celestial.
I remember now. I definitely helped her cheat. That's right.
I see.
She doesn't care for your rules.
So we'll change it less from a proper request to more rhetorical.
Anyways, Casimir is going to go ahead and offer his arm to Adthea, who takes it very gracefully. And those of you who know her can tell that internally she is whistling like a slightly improperly sealed pressure cooker. All the new things that she's beholding at this moment. And
I'm
of course,
impressed.
Exarch takes the opportunity as well to formally greet Indogalad of Perianth and Adthea of Perianth.
Exarch has listed everybody's details. Doesn't unnecessarily list all of them, but anytime that anyone's talking to them, they know who that person is by name. I don't have another map prepared, but we're just going to assume that there are some nice areas. Even if the area wasn't nice 3 days ago, Exarch has made it nice by now. For proper meetings and discussions and such. And as all matters of state do, this is going to take a while. Because there's a lot of formal introductions. There's an exchange of gifts.
Because we're the ones that sort of initiated the negotiations. I would have liked beforehand to ask the prince to give us a moment to greet our the other heads of state privately. Just to say hello and exchange because we've been gone for so long. Does he accept that?
Yes.
I will take that moment if Adthea is comfortable with it to reset the telepathic bond to include her, so that if she needs somewhere to just vent her questions, I'm giving her an out.
How many people can be in that telepathic bond? 8. Okay, who is in the telepathic bond?
Right now, it is definitely myself, Medwithin, Delaris, Gaston. You want to be in it as well?
Sure.
So that's what is that? 5? That's 4. I'm going to leave Tenkobel and Zomkog out because they are not particularly interested, or at least they've not shown any interest in the being a mover and shaker at the political level. And I'm going to leave because with at the end it is becoming a secure line. I'm leaving Manda out as well.
Okay.
I have other ways of talking to Manda.
All right. So it is only the 5 of you in this telepathic bond. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. As soon as this bond is formed, Adthea immediately... I don't think he's mad at you. It's not your fault. It was my idea. I made Mirith do it.
I'm going to interrupt her thought process. You're welcome.
Thank you. Dolores is just like, what the fuck?
Wait, what happened? Who's mad? Why would he be mad?
Do you know the answer to that, Yasmin?
To what, sorry?
You said you're welcome. Do you know what you said you're welcome to? Because Dolores does not.
Oh, I mean, you would. I'm interrupting her thought process to give her I'll let Dolores. Adthea looks like she's about to explode from questions, so here she can now answer them. That's what I'm telling her you're welcome for.
Oh. But wait, who would be mad?
So you already knew. Okay, that's good. How did you get down through all of that? Who disarmed all the traps? What'd you learn about all the spells in there?
Oh, wow, this is way back. Oh, dear. Okay.
I'm ignoring these questions, by the way. I'm letting her know I'm ignoring them.
We're starting the questions here. All right.
She has a lot of questions about the temple of the feathered serpent, which she was definitely not supposed to be in.
What do you mean be in?
Did
she leave the ship?
Yes. That's why she says it's not your fault. It was all my fault. I made Mirith do it. He's not mad at you. As she starts asking these questions, it becomes very clear that after your party went to the Temple of the Feathered Serpent on Verdura and told her to stay, she somehow snuck off the ship and went into the temple herself, along with Mirith.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I think at this point, the thought that comes across is there's no surprise for me. It's entirely expected. There is a level of like, how do I put this? I take it that Athea does not get many people saying no very often to her. So I'm going to say like, guess it was beyond you to take no this one time. I'm lording it over her.
Gaston, what have you been working on? I haven't seen you in a very long time.
Wow. Since then, a lot of things. You know, small scale stuff, nuclear related weapons.
What's nuclear mean?
Something to kill a god.
We don't have time for that. Nope, next question.
We don't have time for that.
How do you kill a god? What have you learned about how to kill a god? Why is killing a god different from other things?
Because it's exceptionally difficult, and I don't actually have an answer yet.
Oh.
It's very hard. Unsurprisingly.
Well, there was the Marrowspawn abomination that you imprisoned back on.
No, this
Ashen.
one is worse. This one is worse.
Oh. Okay. Do any of the principles from that apply to this?
No, this being is almost entirely conceptual.
How interesting. A conceptual thing that can hurt people? Or do you just want to hurt it for no reason? You have to have a good reason for wanting to hurt it. You're not, you're a very rational person. So there's a conceptual thing that can hurt people who are not conceptual.
Yes, see, it itself is conceptual, but the effects it has on this world in particular actually are very non-conceptual and very literal.
What are those effects?
Well, I mean, you'll find this out pretty soon, but this city was trapped in time for centuries.
Oh, I learned about that. This is where humans came from. There didn't used to be humans on Quelia. There used to just be halflings until they landed here. I learned about that. I learned some bits about that. So we are in that place. Okay. Do you understand how it happened?
Vaguely. We know it's a being called the Chronophage, which is what basically held this city in time. I don't remember what caused it to come into existence, but I made a deal quite a while ago that I would help destroy it. So
that sounds
very
difficult.
How often you focus on questions that you're asking us and your current objective?
What objective?
The thing that you're here for?
Oh, that's not my objective.
You're head of state. Pay attention.
Roll an intimidation or persuasion check, please, Yasmin.
This mental bond is now feeling like you're not trapped in here with me, or I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
There's a reason I asked who was included in this mental bond, because you have unleashed the storm.
I did not want to be here alone.
This wasn't about helping her. This is about sharing your pain.
Well, no, the bond open was helping her. The others being here was so that I didn't have to deal with it alone.
Got it. All right. She will focus for a moment. The Voski are... What was that?
I was going to say, do you have to spend a Villas point for that?
Me?
What point?
I don't. Or more correctly, I can't.
A Villas point has to do with their world of origin. Beatdown. Much like you come from Yord, which is operated by this sort of pulp mad science over the top rules where things work that shouldn't. The world they come from is heavily divided between like sin and purity, which are actual forces in that world. Very, very strong forces. And so there's some unique mechanics about them.
What's your insight? What's your insight modifier, Beatdown?
+8.
+8. Okay, you would have noticed this at some point. I lie a lot. Yeah. And like oftentimes about nothing important. Like I'll say like there's 4 jelly beans instead of 3. Or something like that. The only reason you would notice is because you know that how they're seemingly inconsequential lies. They're just for the fun of it. Because you know I know how to count, so
that's true. We definitely didn't confirm that earlier.
Gaston, roll an actual insight check for me as well.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, a 17. Drozy, do you want to explain the vibe that you give off, or do you want me to?
Oh God.
So the vibe I give off is I definitely how do I put this in the funniest way I possibly can?
Funniest. I'll shut up.
Oh, okay.
You know those cartoon? No. I can't. I'm so uncreative right now. I got finals brain. Essentially, where Yasmin lies, Dolores lusts. So
She's mad.
I know.
Anytime she meets like a new person who is attractive, she like her brain goes into thirst meltdown mode.
I think Gaston's passive perception could be a 5. I still noticed.
But it's almost like it's more than a personality trait. It's more compulsive than that.
It's more baked in.
Yeah, that's what the 17 comes in. Like thirsty, pretty obvious, but like the degree to which it is rooted within her very identity.
It's like the mask with the heart eyes and a wooga happening.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where she wanted to go with it, but then decided against it.
Yeah. Also, I'd say you pick up maybe 10% of the time Yasmin is lying.
Oh, okay.
And if you focus, you can try to get more, but like just ambiently, just compulsive. It's like compulsive lies. They don't seem like they seem like they're for fun, but it tracks like compulsive lying behavior. Is there anything that the two of them would have a chance of picking up about Gaston? I think he's been fairly on the level thus far, but you are welcome to add any particular details or flavor, should you so desire.
No, I think on the level is pretty accurate.
Which is funny, because he used to be a masked vigilante.
Yeah, I mean, it got to a point where we just kind of abandoned the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew.
Yeah. You fight a giant robot in the middle of the city enough times and the word gets out.
Masks are just so inconvenient. It's like I like wrap my knuckle against my cheek.
Yeah, and mine was cloth.
Breathes better than metal.
I would assume, yeah.
The Voski are giving gifts to the House of Fluoris that are particularly finely crafted, but also technological in bent. They're not treating the Perianthians as ignorant, low civilized, untechnologically sophisticated. And they're choosing gifts that aren't like simplistic, but they're also not too complicated to give. Like, behold, the turbo espresso maker. Practical gifts, but also things of great craftsmanship. Meanwhile,
XR, can you put a turbo espresso maker on the
Oh no, do not, under any circumstances, introduce Adthea to a turbo espresso machine.
Well, here's the thing, though. Maybe caffeine helps her calm down.
That is a thing in the real world.
I'm not entirely familiar with the neurology of elves yet, but many of her symptoms are comorbid with attention deficit hyperactive disorder in humans.
I do want the turbo
introduce
espresso.
her to the espresso machine.
Listen, it's so useful for research. I need one on the ship.
Yasmin, I already included one in your quarters.
Oh, you are my favorite artificial intelligence creature thing that I know.
I have also created separate workspaces for both you and Gaston, though they are adjacent to each other.
You're my favorite artificial intelligence.
Everybody's shipping themselves with Exarch right now.
Dolores, I did not believe that a performance arts theater would be practical on this vessel, but I would be willing to accommodate anything that you have in mind in that area.
Soundproof doors so we don't have to hear the bagpipes.
How dare you?
But also, yes.
Soundproof doors so you don't have the privilege of hearing them unless I so will it.
Minus the so will it part, and you got a deal.
No, don't give her the freedom to open us up to the bagpipes noise.
That's why I'm saying minus the so will it part.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Electric bagpipes with an auxiliary cord to the ship's
Exar,
sound
can you make sure
system.
I have control of the sound system, please? This is the kind of like general bickering that's happening as we're just kind of just standing there.
Did you want to just when you first off, the three of you are tight with multiple heads of state in this room. So you can pretty much be included in anything you want to be. You are VIPs here. Unless it's unless it's like Casimir is taking Althea out on a date or something like that, probably less so. But any of the official proceedings, you all are considered delegates. You have the right to be involved in any degree of that. You can have sidebars with anybody that you would like, so on and so forth. That being said, while Exarch is still present and like engaging with oh
no.
Somebody with
Tell, is this a character or is this Joe? I'm scared.
No, this is me. Somebody with the breadth of information and the infinite patience to deal with Althea. Okay, that is the first obstacle that this delegation encounters.
Oh boy.
Is that Althea just wants to talk to. As soon as she's like starts talking to Exarch, that's all she wants to do.
If she gets clearly distracted, because we had this whole conversation before. I'm going to
What if I made like a really tiny taser?
Almost like a bite. What is it? A bark collar?
Dude, I could use one of those to get through college.
Anytime it detects her voice in a rising intonation that denotes a question,
the problem is that it just wouldn't turn off.
The batteries would run out.
I will request Exarch. Althea is known for her perpetual questions. We have a connection, a bond right now that allows us to communicate with her such that when the compulsion gets over much, she can open up, but she needs to be able to focus on her task at hand. If she tries to run off queries at you, please limit her to one before she has to focus back on what she's doing.
Of course. I'm developing a psychological profile through our current conversations, which I'm going to use in order to redirect her attention tactically without causing too much of a disruption for her. Ideally, she'll think it's her own idea.
At the same time, I am going to speak with the man of the hour, Casimir, and let him know that, like, she will be very interested as long as you answer questions. Like, tell her about, like, your city, give her a target for, like, the wealth of questions that she will have.
I'm very glad you did that because he just natty won'd his insight check.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm giving him an advantage because of your advice, which means he instead got a 30 on his insight check.
Oh,
man.
True, actually.
Listen, Althea is very pretty. It's not fair. Also, I like how De La Reese said that, the one who is canonically incapable of...
Yeah, but she's also very skilled in, courtly affairs. And she may, it's one of those, like, as long as it's somebody else's situation, I can handle it.
Right. You can give great advice that you never apply in your own life.
I have no, I mean, I have a horse in this race, but it's not like I'm not riding in this race, if you know what I mean.
You're betting on a horse, but you don't have your own. You're not a jockey. Yeah.
I don't love this analogy anymore.
I understand it.
Yeah.
Wait, is that all I am to you in the mental? I'm your emotional support, calm emotions.
No, of course not.
The mental equivalent of like walking to a corner and like staring at it.
We have a very multifaceted, vibrant friendship. Thank you very much.
There's like a half beat of silence.
I'd like to take a couple points of psychic damage for not even getting a response from that.
Go ahead, deduct the damage.
And then Yasmin's like the pretend chilliness is gone again.
So, what's effectively going to follow is a bit of a montage. There's going to be a lot of formal. It's not like hardcore negotiation is happening right now. It's more like, oh, we're going to have this party and we're going to have this dinner and we're going to have this, like different events to get to know each other. Not just Casimir and Althea, but like these two species. This is a first contact scenario, effectively.
Wow.
At least for the Lacunians. Somewhat for the Perianthians, because technically they know the Lacunians' descendants.
Yeah. At some point, as this montage is going on, I will take point on hybridizing the magicians and so forth. And like, because I have the best understanding of anyone here about alongside Gaston, like who needs to talk where, and just start organizing people so we get not only so that the Exarch can like speed up, because even though the Exarch doesn't need my help, but also to keep ourselves in the process,
in the loop. Gaston, as all of this like socializing and galas and court appointed date nights between Casimir and Althea where he's trying to impress her, as all these things are going on, how engaged or not engaged is Gaston with that stuff?
I would say not very.
Okay.
Honestly, it would be like, I think he'd either be like contemplating things he's working on, or maybe talking to the Exarch.
See, that's the thing I was going to say, is the moment that Exarch picks up on the fact that this is not your concern, Exarch will focus their attention on you. Except Exarch is a super AI and is therefore focusing their attention in multiple places at the same time. But basically, like, Exarch sort of is reading the social vibe, has a really good read on the room, and reacts to your presence by integrating, engaging with you, integrating you into the process, communicating between all the different people. It is a little bit of a challenge for you to wrangle the mages, because all these elvish mages are subtly trying to one-up each other. Each one of them is trying to be the most impressive. They all want to be the person doing the talking, like, oh, no, I will be the interface with Gaston and with Yasmin.
I will, as soon as I notice this, I will sit all of them down in front of me. None politely. This is very much someone who's, they think they're doing this for clout. I have some planet to save. I'm going to sit them down at a bunch of tables and chairs. Be like, I'm going to volunteer whoever looks like the least advanced, like the one who seems to have lowest in the pecking order. Ask them their name. And then once, even if it takes them a while to like give it to me, or I will ignore everyone.
To give it to you.
No. But like, even if it takes a while for them to kind of speak up over their peers, I will wait until I receive it and then talk specifically to them first. So Renaril. Okay. What's your field of study? What school of magic do you involve yourself in the most?
Conjuration, primarily.
Excellent. And I'll have a communication line with Exarch open this whole time. do you have a place for this kind of study of magic required?
So you're asking if Reneeril needs a workspace in this area?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ahead of them trying to like tell me where they need to go, and I'm telling them where to go.
Got it.
And I'm starting with the lowest rank, and I'm going to leave the last ranked one. As the thought process behind this is, but I won't be particularly subtle about. I'm not hiding my intentions here. I am, despite asking for the lowest ranked one first. I will keep as each low rank one leaves. I will give another piece of information about what I need from each of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the people who stay longest, yeah, they get kind of rebuffed, but they also get more of the information. Okay.
Yes.
No, that's a good way of handling things. Gaston, Exarch is keeping you up to date at all times, and you are constantly receiving 3D projections and schematics of the ship as it's being built.
Neat.
Because the dark matter drive needs to fit into this construction, and magic, you need to be able to run magic through the ship just like electricity. So as Exarch is learning, also every single place that these mages are working, Exarch is watching and learning. And so Exarch is going to work with you heavily on how to integrate the magical systems through the entire ship and how to properly situate the dark matter drive, because most of what goes into the dark matter drive is stuff to hold the void crystals stable. Because if they collapse, that's a black hole and your ship is gone.
And also you.
And you, yes, assuming you're on board.
Yeah.
You know what the worst part about it is, though? You would be gone, but you would experience it for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Very chill. Yeah.
Yep.
Excruciating pain forever.
They just need that, like, I'm just a chill guy, but they need to stretch it as if it's
the identification of I'm just a chill guy. When you're just a chill guy, but you're undergoing time dilation as you die. You're slowly digested over 1,000 years. So
the piano starts playing. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, just a quick aside.
Go ahead.
That's a philosophical question. The neurons in your brain don't fire fast enough for you to be able to sense it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you even be able to feel the pain?
I mean, who knows?
As physics goes, it might not work that way.
What matters is if time dilation is occurring, how fast are your atoms and stuff moving?
Yeah.
Because if those are slowed down, then you would subjectively experience it in real time.
No, but I'm saying falling over the event horizon of the black hole. Because like at a certain point, it absorbs. Anyway, that's a much more extended conversation that is relevant to this scene.
Yes. So yeah, Gaston, Exarch is working very closely with you, and because they are a hyper intelligence capable of many different processing tracks at once, you can also talk to them and ask them questions about any other form of technology that you have questions about. It depends on how focused you're going to be on the work, or if you're trying to do extracurriculars at the same time. Where is that balance for you?
The only other thing I'd want to know about besides whatever I can do to assist the work is it's funny enough. This whole like conversation about black holes and time dilation is very relevant to maybe killing the chronophage. So any kind of what's the word? Any knowledge on the subject is usually a big plus. Maybe even discuss like a tiny bit of the idea that I had, because I'm pretty sure I never told the Exarch the current theory that I was working on.
Okay. Let's see. What do black holes do to time? Okay, so if time slows down, if the gravitational force of a black hole slows down time, and if the chronophage fed by halting this system in stasis, and then something about the fact that that system was held back in time gave it nourishment, because it's not like it hyper accelerated them. That's what you would think of a time eater would like rapid age you or something, but instead it just caused time to completely stop and developed food from that. Mathematically, or at least like in terms of not symbology, but like conceptually, how would that time dilation affect a creature that feeds on stasis, that feeds on time not progressing when it should?
It would either, my thought process goes like either it hyper feeds it or starves it. It's like two extremes, right?
Right.
Does that mean either would work?
According to Exarch's calculations, if it hyper feeds it, that would make it stronger. But it would keep it distracted for a while. The other effect, it would not starve such a theoretical entity. And keep in mind that the exact effect of this requires more analysis and more information in order to predict the effects. So it would either hyper satiate it, which would make it stronger, but might make it fuck off for a while, or just, you know, have a food coma. Or it would false feed it.
Ooh.
Where it thinks that it is just feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding, but it's fake, because time isn't being held back and it's local to it. Instead of it feeding on a system outside, it's the one being affected. So it could starve it without it noticing.
That's an interesting question. I assume I have some insight into this conversation, right?
Yeah. Unless you would want to get Yasmin in, right, Gaston?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The thought process. It's not necessarily that this is a malicious effect that this chronophage is engaging in.
Kinda.
Did it do it on, like, was it a malicious effect?
I mean, it depends what you mean, because even I feel like malice doesn't really matter as long as its actions have impact on a person, people. Whatever.
I think sure in its
unless you're
effect,
wondering about intelligence.
But the that's what I'm saying is, if it's not a hyper malicious thing, then force is not required to
deal with it.
No, as in, if we can get it to guiding it to its new source may not be as complicated if it's not malicious in nature.
Lure it away.
Yes.
But where?
Roll a science check, please, both of you. Gaston with advantage. Super genius.
28.
Wile E. Coyote.
Hey, let's go.
Okay, let me roll back to the original question. It froze this system instead of a empty, barren system. There is reason to believe that it required feeding off of the frozen time of sentient life. Not just a big rock. It had to be an inhabited planet with sentient life.
What is it about sentient life that contributes to its feeding?
It's odd because, again, it's not like it hyper accelerated their timelines and burned it out. Again, it was something about like freezing them for that period, sustained it.
Maybe it, in some way, it like feeds on the time that should be passing.
Yes, definitely. That is definitely what it's doing.
Okay.
An idle thought crosses Yasmin's mind as we're kind of like doing the actual scientific rigor here.
Mm-hmm.
What if we make it the new caretaker of the chains?
The what?
It's an idle thought that there's no context given whatsoever.
What chains?
And as soon as you like start to ask questions, but it's like Yasmin like dials in, is like, oh, don't worry about it. It's long story we don't have time for.
I mean,
you have a chronophage. I have chains.
Okay. What?
That's it.
All right.
It's honestly, it's more explanatory than it isn't.
I wholeheartedly disagree, but okay.
No, I'm being literal. You have a chronophage. I have life chains.
Life chains?
Like people's lives are represented by chains in stasis. And I'll yeah. I'm not being cryptic. I'm being literal. This is literally what is happening.
I have so many questions.
Right, we have no time for it though.
So it won't work. Because I thought you were proposing a solution.
Oh no, this was an idle thought. This was not. This was very much an idle thought from Yasmin.
Okay.
I will go ahead and say that through your research, you have determined that using a singularity, there are two hypothetical outcomes and one probable outcome. The two hypotheticals are either satiate it, with superfeed it, or fake feed it so it starves, which is what they do to like certain, I don't know, is that like poisons? There's some poisons where like it prevents nutrient uptake that they use on ants.
I mean, that's literally what rat poison is. It prevents them from
rat
water.
poison. Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be like rat poison, but it would almost certainly act as a lure, depending on this thing's intelligence or lack thereof, depending on the nature of its mind. If it is not intelligent as we understand it, it might follow a singularity to a new feeding ground. You might be able to use it as a lure to move it somewhere else.
How was this thing created again?
So, Exarch can bring you up to speed on this.
Yes.
It was before Exarch's time, but Exarch's predecessor's predecessor was party to its creation. Lacunas was established as a remote research facility at a safe distance from most of the crucibles in order to study interdimensional fatigue and temporal manipulation. The interdimensional fatigue experiments worked when they established a technological portal that led to Ashen. The time portal, they were trying to do time travel. They were attempting time travel. Not just localized chrono manipulation, but like going back in time. And at the moment that experiment was activated, from their perspective, the dimensional portal just spewed out an army of dragons. But upon further analysis, that is when the stasis initiated. When they attempted
interesting thought.
Go ahead.
That moment.
That moment. It was the moment of they activated the attempt to go back in time. At that point, stasis was initiated, and you now know that the cause of the stasis was the chronophage. Go ahead, Yasmin.
What if the chronophage isn't an entity of its own volition and is used instead as a stopgap for the manipulation of time?
Yeah, I wonder if there's some kind of like balance that's been misaligned because of that experiment, and the chronophage is like a natural result.
That would be the case, except that you have either directly spoken or through John spoken to the dragon god Chronepsis.
Oh, right.
The dragon god Chronepsis, the Watcher, who measures the life of all dragons and records the moment of their death and knows all of that breadth of time but never speaks, broke his silence to tell you need to kill the fucking chronophage.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's information I didn't have. Got it.
The both of you, you're welcome to roll religion checks if you want to see if you know anything. Upon learning that, see if you know anything more about Cronepsis.
Yes, I will.
I'm not going to make that check because this is the first time I've heard of it, so I would never have come across it in my studies.
The only thing I wonder is like, I'm trying to think, because I mean, even though Cronepsis said that we needed to kill it, what does that mean? Like, could fixing what was broken, get rid of it, effectively killing it in a sense?
That's a good question. With your 18 in religion, Cronepsis is the true neutral dragon god of fate, death, and judgment. He observes, but he does not act except to guide the spirits of dragons into the afterlife. He is a god of eternal law, but he does not care about justice. It's about natural law, not about right and wrong or fair or unfair. It is just about the laws of eternity. Cronepsis is said to know the future and how all things will end, but he will not reveal this knowledge to others. He never speaks or communicates. The only time you're aware of that he has spoken or communicated was to say, you need to kill the chronophage.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah.
And the other thing about Cronepsis is that Cronepsis is the deity that the Vignar, who used to worship the Falazur, the draconic god of undeath and negative energy, they were all lied to and told, oh, no, you actually work for Cronepsis. That's been the truth this whole time. And as soon as that happened, they basically vanished because they stopped doing things and they started just observing.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Okay.
But yeah, that's about it.
Damn, there's so much here.
With the information that we have about containing and safely stabilizing void crystals, it should be possible to develop a system that delivers them as a payload. And if that payload is properly collapsed, it could either deliver one of these intended effects or be stabilized and used to lure in order to drive off the chronophage.
Is there any information on what specifically, like the specifics of the experiment that caused all this?
Unfortunately, most of that information was lost.
My predecessor was developed from the artificial intelligence system that was assisting with the research, reprogrammed with a single directive to protect the humans of Lacunas. I'm the third iteration of that software. And that information
you have no memory of the previous?
Unfortunately, that's correct. The download from one iteration to the next has not been perfect. My predecessor was nearly corrupted by a Vignar tech virus, a sentient magical virus, and therefore my predecessor had to be deleted. Not all of his information was transmitted to me. And not all of the information of the first iteration was transmitted to my immediate predecessor.
Lacunas was an outpost, right?
Correct.
Is it possible then that their predecessors still exist in this universe?
Approximately 10,000 years. I estimate that civilization could have changed drastically at this point. However, due to the presence of the chronophage, transmission and travel out of the system is currently impossible.
My concern is not that anytime we were to, if we were to employ a singularity as a lure, it would have to be from without, not within.
Yes, I believe so.
Not a blockage, simply another avenue to, or another factor to consider once we implement whatever solution we come to.
Yes. In any case, Gaston, I believe that a void crystal, once properly stabilized, would be the primary mechanism by which you could deliver any of these effects.
Okay, I'll have to think on it, because I don't know, there's so much that we don't know, and I wouldn't be comfortable with either outcome until we have some idea of what might happen.
Additional information gathering must be necessary then.
Yes, because I want to know what are the chances of overfeeding, supersaturating the chronophage, and then there's some crazy explosion because, you know, it pops like a balloon. And while sounding silly, it is theoretically possible, and who knows what the effects of that would be.
No, I agree with you. There are a great many factors to consider. The initial experiment was brash, and the consequences were not fully considered. Let us not make the mistake of our forebears.
Agreed.
Dolores, how are you spending a lot of this montage time? Because there's like 2 simultaneous montages going. There's the socialization and negotiation and introduction of the 2 courts and of Casimir to add Thea. But again, it's like multiple layers. Language, culture, history, values, personalities, also romance possible. So like they have to get to know each other's cultures and species as well as each other.
Right.
They have a packed itinerary. And then on the other side, you have exarchs like machines and stuff co-working with all these mages to build this dark matter engine and some other stuff.
Dolores is definitely going to be involved with the social aspect of it, catching up with like Marikoth since he's around.
He's so excited. Like, this is the event of the century, maybe the millennium. Like, and I'm here where it's happening. Ugh.
So I think she's definitely like catching up with him, and then like also just meeting some of the other people that are there that maybe she didn't meet while on Perianth, and then getting to know some of the nobility here, and just offering her services as an entertainer wherever she can.
Make a performance check.
It's gonna be really embarrassing if this is one of the ones that I fail. Imbibing too much of the local fare. Oh my god.
Oh dear. You don't have any luck or inspiration or like can a Villas point help here?
Can a Villas point help here? I mean, I don't think it can do a, like, is it a reroll? I can't remember.
You can spend a Villas point for advantage, but I don't know for what. Hang on, let me.
Yeah, it's gonna be context sensitive.
Yeah, let me see if because depending which heresy you have, you can do different things.
My hope is because you have the lust.
As a bonus action, you may spend 1 Villas point to gain advantage on a charisma ability check or saving throw.
That's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, let's try this again.
Yeah,
okay. 5. Much
Thank
better.
Goodness.
So, despite the fact that you are slightly fucked up on the elven wine that they brought, the really nice elven wine that they brought, which goes over super well with the Voski, by the way. Like, they're on a desert planet, hydroponics, basically. And Perianth is just, like, not only is it this lush world that's just trying to feed you, just effortlessly feeding you because things grow there, but it's like magic is in the soil. These Perianth agricultural products are blowing the minds of the Voski nobility. Not even like Casimir is suave about it, but like he can't even get over how good the fruits and stuff taste. It's crazy. He already has his ministers of trade and such being like, we are going to work on a portal system. We are going to import this directly to our city.
It's like, even if this doesn't happen, this is gonna happen.
There's a lot of those like sidebars being discussed as they're learning more about each other's worlds. They're like, your entire planet is lush and covered with water. You have all these resources. We have all this technology.
By our powers combined.
Yeah, like Perianth is so rich with natural resources that just do not fucking exist on Lacunas. these conversations are all over the place. What kind of performance do you actually do? What is your performance? Is it bagpipes or something else?
No. I think Dolores definitely knows how to read a fucking room. And it's definitely lute, maybe some oration, song. Probably getting Medwithin and Marikoth into the mix to do some of their fun stuff.
They're magic. They're showing off. Like the Voski are exposed to magic, but it's usually in the hands of the people trying to kill them.
And it also seems more like their magic here is more necessity when they have it than like frivolity.
Yes. Like the Ulhar use lightning magic a lot, and because they're blue dragons, they have inherent lightning. There's a lot of storm sorcerers over there, etc. They mostly use it for combat purposes. So using it for art, the Voski, because they have their own rich tradition of like opera and other performance arts, they can definitely appreciate it, but it's also just exotic as hell. So you deliver an absolutely stunning performance. You get like your own sort of billing on this one, on the itinerary in order to do all of this, and you make an absolutely huge impression on everybody present.
Hell yeah! Right after breaking a string, I'm like, whoop, excuse me.
But you break the string and then you play the song without it. You just adjust the
There we go.
the key and just go forward with it.
I
And
meant
that
to
blows
do
everyone's
that.
mind. Exactly. All right. One of the things that comes up is Casimir wants to show Adthea and some of the other dignitaries the beauties of his city. That would involve leaving neutral ground. Do any of you want to weigh in as a pro or a con on that?
I mean, I would say that's more than acceptable. We can't exactly expect Adthea to just sign on without essentially seeing where she'd live.
You live like this, dude?
Yeah. Also, from Yasmin's point of view, that was entirely within the plan anyway. It was simply that we didn't want a direct connection from Perianth.
We wanted the meeting ground to be neutral.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. This was never about like limiting their ability to move around the world. More that we didn't want the appearance of neutrality was way more important than anything else.
Okay. So for a few of the days of this process, because again, the entire time that it takes to assemble the ship, which by the way, did we have a plan for getting that home?
Getting the ship home?
Yeah.
I think no. We would have to like move it piece by piece, like in sections that are big enough to fit through the gate, and then like assemble it in its totality on the other side.
Okay.
Which would take a while.
Yes.
Like that's a multi-week endeavor.
Yeah.
And it is going to involve setting up facilities on Perianth to a certain degree. Like, Exarch can package a lot of it with like self-assembling bots and stuff like that. And orbital assembly probably makes the most sense, because spelljammers can go from the surface to orbit without burning fuel. Whereas this ship, if it was assembled here, it'd have to be held up somehow against gravity, and then it would have to launch. Now, the fuel sources that Exarch is going to use are extremely, extremely like long-lasting and such, very, very high tech, but it's still a consideration. You probably would want to do orbital assembly. So that's going to take, you're going to be a little bit down to the wire on this one. And before we get to that point, we'll have to hear back from like Hulwyn and the other people who are trying to get more allies and assistance and such. Now, going back to all of this, manufacturing is, some of it is occurring in Exarch's distant factories, but more and more with each day, Exarch is transporting more material and equipment to this facility, because the magic part of it has to be like integrated with a lot of this, and making it orbital assembly, like piecemeal, makes it more complicated. So the manufacturing capabilities, material, robots, machines just continues. Like there's like a small factory growing here.
A thought process. Oh no, gate is a portal itself. Never mind.
What'd you have in mind?
If we could like dilate a what do you call it? A dimension here, but passing a portal through a portal would rupture the like a bag of holding on steroids kind of thing. But that would absolutely Yasmin would know that doesn't work.
The other option is there is a color pool here. A color pool, a two-way portal between this place and the astral plane.
That's true. Basically, we just need to be able to stabilize. If we can, we still have the problem there that because I don't think we can get a portal big enough for a ship to pass through, right?
None of your current capabilities allow you to create a portal big enough for a ship to pass through. This ship will not be 10 feet or 20 feet in diameter. Yeah. It's going to be bigger than that.
But the astral plane might still be an easier way to assemble and then filter from the astral plane back into.
Yeah, depending on the size of it.
Yeah.
Wait. Roll an intelligence check, please. I will allow both Dolores and Yasmin to do this. Unfortunately, not Gaston, because he doesn't have this piece of information yet. Roll an intelligence check, please.
Intelligence.
That is really bad.
This is for recall, if you have any abilities pertinent to recall.
Recall.
Oh, woof.
Yeah, this was not what you were focusing on at the time anyways, Drowsy, so don't feel bad about it. That was a hell why not roll.
Yeah, I think 15 is the best I got.
Okay.
For recalling information.
Carlith is an expert on the astral plane. That's all that occurs to you.
I have no way of communicating with him right now, though, right?
Well, you're surrounded by mages. You got sending spells.
Oh, that's true. I am. Oh, but I don't. They're not very. Medwith's not here either. I don't trust them. And that is a lot of information, a lot of power to give to one of these power seekers. Shoot. Oh, you know what? I'm going to ask one of them to send me a message to Carlith, asking him to open up a sending to me.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
They don't have to know what's inside the message if they are never involved in it.
Fair deal. Before I respond to that, I was talking about all this material and stuff being brought to the portal facility. This was a prelude to me saying that most of the delegation, aside from the mages who are working and a few Vosky technicians and stuff just to sort of be here, are going to leave and go to Voskdomoy for a few days. I assume Gaston and Yasmin are staying here to work on the project, right?
Yeah. We have a communicator with De La Reese if something comes up, but I don't think it makes sense for us to go. This is not our job. Is to make sure we're good to fight.
So, are you going to the capital with them?
I think so. Yeah, I think I would definitely, because for Dolores, it doesn't make sense for her to hang around where they're tinkering with stuff because it's not her scene.
your skills are best used elsewhere.
Yeah.
I can wrangle a couple of power-hungry mages anyway. I already did it once. I can do it. And worst case, I could shoot them if they bother me too much. I'm 20% joking.
Only 20?
30% joking. 10% joking as some mage asks me a dumb question.
That sounds more like it.
All right. So, Ilaris is going to go with Medwithin and all the fancy pantses back to the capital, where there will be long walks behind waterfalls, opera performances, the works. All the pomp and circumstance and finery that can possibly be accumulated for that.
Sounds about right.
Going back to the sending spell. You receive a sending spell from Karlith. What?
Limitation of gate cannot send ship through in its entirety. Assembly astral? Question mark.
There's a delay. I'm not an artificer. No reason it shouldn't work.
Methodology?
Transport manufacturing equipment to astral plane. Transport pieces to astral plane. Perform construction without the confines of gravity. Beware of Githyanki raiders.
Manufacture the weapons first.
Sure.
Githyanki raiders dealt with.
Karlith doesn't resending you because you didn't ask any further questions.
Well, the only I get the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get it out of the astral?
You ask him that?
Yeah. Because theoretically, it's the same problem, right? Like,
right.
We still have the massive ship. Getting it out is still the issue.
Okay. I need.
It solves the orbital problem, but it doesn't solve the dimension portal problem.
Okay, let me look that up. And while I am looking that up, I want to know what Deloris's general, because once they get back to Bosk de Moy, there's still a lot of formal things going on. Like, in the evening, we have an opera for everybody. And then we have this gala here, and we have this there, and we have this here, and we have this there. But this is the part of the agenda where more and more time is carved off purely for Casimir and Adthea.
She is going to try to form some relationships with some of Casimir's closer advisors and stuff. See if she can kind of buddy up to them.
Okay.
And kind of make connections there.
All right. Roll persuasion to schmooze.
Schmoozing. God,
15.
I don't know what is with me today.
You're rolling abysmally.
I know.
Like it's actually wild.
It's bad. I'm just gonna blame Lafon.
If you have any more Villas
Starting
points,
to rub off on me.
If you have any more Villas points, you can spend them.
I do. I'll spend one more. Might as well. Okay, let's try this again. Persuasion. Are you kidding me?
That's incredible. That is incredible. Wow, 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 wow. Wow.
I don't want to play anymore.
This game is stupid. Trying to find the dimensions of a color pool.
Oh.
What you're getting in this is that Prince Casimir's closest aides and such are very guarded. Extremely guarded. They are not rude. They're very polite. But they are not interested in opening up the inner circle in like any capacity. Roll an insight check for me, please.
I mean, I'll attempt to, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see.
You rolled a 6, you got a 9. Nice.
Rip.
Okay. God damn.
Yep. My thoughts exactly.
I'll cut back to you in a moment.
And that's the stream, guys.
let me wallow.
Almost. That's almost the stream.
There'll just be a funny moment. Roll like 4 5s in a row or something, and he's like, you know what, guys?
We're done here. Just wrap it up. Wrap it all up.
Yeah. Yep.
I swear to God, there was a thing here that gave the dimensions, the approximate dimensions of a color pool. And I cannot find it. I will look it up later. Screw it. I'm not going to waste any more time on this. So the problem remains. Assemble orbital assembly on Perianth, or get to the astral plane and then find a way to leave the astral plane with a huge ship. If you go to Perianth, this is going to involve a lot of technology on Perianth. A lot of highly sophisticated technology. Exarch has produced a plan, a timeline that is constantly adjusting as like the mages say, no, we need this to work this way, and like this has to be a single contiguous piece. It cannot be assembled. And Exarch is like, okay, well then just make it one long piece that you build in one piece here, and then you stretch it out and put all the other pieces around it. So Exarch is constantly updating like the model for how to do this in orbit and what's going to be required and all of that stuff. And Exarch is very confident that they can produce machines that'll be pre-programmed to do all of this for you as long as you get everything into orbit. If you can figure out a way to do astral transit faster, then that might save you some time. But other than that, like, it's just nose to the grindstone right now. Anything from Gaston or Yasmin before we close with Dolores? Okay. Dolores, as you bemoan the resistance, the heavy calcified social barriers between you, it's so odd. You have like direct access to Casimir himself, but his inner circle rebuffs you. Which is why you aren't able to pick up on all of the nuances of the threads of power and loyalty in that inner circle. Which is why you are not immediately aware of the fact that as Adthea and Casimir and bodyguards are enjoying a dinner in a floating, transparent, dazzling hover vehicle that flies over the city, somebody is approaching it with a bomb.
Oh,
and that's where we're ending tonight's episode. We will see all of you next time on Coriander Society. Have fun.
You can't